Hello everyone, and it's time to have a look at what's happened this weekend, especially in La Liga. First of all, I would like to talk about two youngsters that are making such a huge impact. An origin and somebody who was born in Guinea, but is looking to become a Spanish international. First of all, Martin Odegaard. I'm going to have a close look at him in the next few weeks because I feel that he's developed into an elite midfielder, a top midfielder. I think he wanted everybody to see, everybody close at Madrid, to see that he is that already. And many would say that the Dutch league is not as strong as the Spanish league. That's fair enough. He scored 11 goals, gave 12 assists last season with Vitesse. So you're talking about somebody that makes a clear impact into the games. But we've had, four games, and you already can see that he belongs to a Real Madrid level. The only thing that we cannot confirm yet is the consistency of his delivery, but right now you've got a midfield that understands what he's got to do on the pitch at every moment. The first game that he played was against Valencia, and he became the player that touched the ball more often in the opposition half that in the whole of La Liga. This is in the first fixture list. So there was nobody else that wanted the ball so often, touched the ball so often, and did so much with it in the opposition's half that Odegaard against Valencia. It was a 1-1 draw. That kind of role, important role in the last third, grew in the second game against Mallorca. You could see it in the goal, a goal that came out of training. It was a counter-attack. He was involved at the beginning of it, and he finished it too. He got into the box, he was on his own, and finished it with very calmly. You're talking about somebody that is able to also start from deep positions and have a big influence in the other side of the pitch. Against Athletic Bilbao, everybody was bad. The intensity of Athletic Bilbao caught Real Sociedad by surprise, but the opposite happened against Atletico Madrid this weekend. Perhaps one of the best games of Real Sociedad in a long time, and at the forefront of everything that was happening was Martin Odegaard, who took the set pieces, who wanted the ball, who everybody looks for and delivers the ball to, also who scored a goal, second goal of the season for him. Elite player, two-year loan with Real Sociedad, but this is a Real Madrid that lacks midfielders. I'm not saying that they will get him now. I'm not sure the conditions to get him this season, but I wonder if in the summer they will consider taking Martin Odegaard to Real Madrid. Age 20, just 20, but physically, mentally, personality we knew he had, the quality we knew he had, but it's what he does without the ball as well, and how he has become a leader of Real Sociedad already. A Real Sociedad with quality players like Oyarzabal and Janu Jazz and William Jose and Isaac and Mikel Merino. Top team, but he's chosen very well, and Real Sociedad has admitted that he chose Real Sociedad and not the other way around. Although Real Sociedad wanted him, but many other teams too. But he felt that surrounded by players that like to play the ball, that they have a lot of personality as well, and perhaps gaining an aggression that they didn't have last season, all that was going to help his football. And that's exactly what's happening. Ansu Fati has to be the next name in the list, of course. He scored again, 2 goals with Barcelona already. I still think that he will play more often with Barcelona B at the end of the season than with Barcelona, with the first team, because he's 16. Now, he has something, though. He's proven to have something already in the games that I've seen him that is surprising and that makes him special. So perhaps Barcelona will consider keeping him in the first team, but he will not play as much as he's playing now when Luis Suarez, Messi and Griezmann become the 3 front men for Barcelona. So do you want to keep him? Is he happy that that's the case, or do you want to give him minutes? That's a decision that Barcelona will have to make. But there's that thing that he's got that makes him special. Everybody says that when you go from, say, kids football or youth football into senior football, and also when you go from second division to the first division, the thing that surprise players the most and take longest to adapt to is the pace of things that happen on the pitch. That means you have to do things quicker. You have to think quicker. You have to pass the ball quicker. You have to react quicker. And they get caught. A lot of players get caught unless you're a bit special. And to be honest, Ansu Fati did not look out of place at the first team of Barcelona, because when his decisions were always good. When he had to run in behind, he did so, and he did it with pace. When he had to go 1v1 with the defender, he did exactly that too, and he did it with quality and pace too. And he thought quickly, as he showed in the goal from the pass from De Jong. And he assisted De Jong as well, having won a body check from the centre-back and still managed to come out strongly from it and look up and see De Jong coming from deep and passing the ball. Those are qualities that you have to have in your first team. It's just that I think that perhaps Barcelona may consider giving him more minutes in the B side, which is in the second B, the third tier of Spanish football, even though he has not played for them yet. He went from the under-18s to the first team. Interestingly enough, and this is a personality trait, the day after the game at the Camp Nou against Valencia, he went and saw the under-18s, surrounded by even older players than him that were not called up for that game, with Patrick Kluivert, who's the director of La Masia. He was in the stands clapping his former teammates, and that also gives you a little bit of what kind of personality he is. He's humble. He comes from a humble family. I told you some of the story. I'll tell you more in the next few weeks, but definitely somebody to keep an eye on. For Real Madrid, let me pick not Benzema, who was fantastic again. It looks like he's dancing when he walks around the pitch. He's involved in everything that's good, especially in attack, of course. But of James. James has got a point to prove. James wants to tell Zidane, forget about what happened to us in the past and look what I can do for you. And what he can do, you saw it in an assist he gave Benzema, his first touch, how he saw the run of Benzema, how he passed him the ball with the perfect weight, at the perfect distance, placed it in the perfect place. As well as that, James worked so hard, run more than anybody else, and was very focused on pressure high when Real Madrid lost the ball. So he's got that. He always had that, by the way. You couldn't accuse him of not trying hard enough in the past. It's just that perhaps he was a little bit inconsistent. Well, now he has the ability to do things, to take good decisions, more good decisions than wrong decisions, to play in that kind of, in a leather that is steps, and to go up the ladder, you cannot miss any step. You go one after the other. But if you take a step out, you fall, don't you? Maybe it's not the perfect example of what I'm trying to say, but you'll see my point, because obviously from the midfield to the attack, you need that step. Somebody there that has got the vision, has got the strength of mentality and body as well, to keep the ball in between the lines, to receive it, to turn, to see a pass for the forwards. And James has got that, but as I say, he puts a lot of hard work without the ball. Everybody dropped the level in the second half, and it was disappointing to see the mistakes that they made for the two goals they conceded. Sergio Ramos and Casemiro were badly placed for the first one, and it was Carvajal for the second one that didn't defend well the second post. All in all, is the kind of thing that Real Madrid needs to change, plus the general attitude of the team. They need to still be at it, even though they're 3-0 up, just to make sure that they turn around a dynamic that still is not the positive dynamic that everybody wants at the Santiago Bernabeu. We have to praise Sevilla. They were fantastic. Lopetegui's team already impressed me when I went to see them against Espanyol. They beat Espanyol. And what you could see was that it was a team that was drilled, that they knew what they had to do everywhere in the park. And there's a mark of a very good coach when that happens. They're still doing that. The only problem is perhaps that even though Chicharito made his debut, the lack of goals. De Jong is certainly not the forward that will give you 25 goals per season. So they'll need a lot of collaboration from the midfield, and then they'll need Chicharito to make an impact straight away. But you see Ocampos on the right-hand side with Navas, who kept going forward, obviously now a fullback. And it was so dangerous, that attack down the right from Sevilla. But on the left, you had Reguilón. Oliver Torres is not a winger, So he came inside and created superiority in the midfield, a midfield that still has Benega, and of course, Joan Jordan, who is a former Espanyol midfielder, who was at Eibar as well, who scored 2 goals already. One of them, the free kick this weekend, was fantastic. And he represents the personality of Sevilla. Joan Jordan, or Joan Jordan as he likes to call himself, basically somebody to keep an eye on. A midfielder that is not typical of Spanish football, or Spanish midfielder, not typical of our country, with a lot of dynamism, box to box, but also very clever in his positioning as well, physically strong and tall. So all in all, he looks like a very strong Sevilla. Diego Carlos in the center of the defense has become also a powerful figure, an important figure, with a big personality too. And it looks like a team that will fight for top 4, alongside Real Sociedad, who we're talking about Martin Odegaard, but generally everybody has seems to have gone a step up on the level. It'll be very interesting fight for top 4, with those two, I would think, included. And if I'm wrong, just remind me later in the season. Finally, one word on VAR. So if you don't like this, just go away, because you may consider it boring. Do you know my views on this if you follow me? I just think that football is a simple game. That technology just basically stops in making it a game in a way, makes it more complicated than it should be, and generally takes away a little bit of the essence of what it is, a game. A lot of people want football to be black and white. Technology allows it to be black and white. For me, greys are very important. Things in the middle, things that are not clear, how you react to that. Even mistakes are part of life and football. And I think some of that should remain, because at the end of the day, I know it's a business with a lot of money, but still is essentially a game. Anyway, I just wanted to make a point now that VAR is with us, and it doesn't look like it's going to go away, that it was introduced with the idea of helping the referee for clear and obvious moments. What's happening though, linesmen and referees are hiding behind VAR. They don't want so much responsibility now because they can be exposed. So VAR is growing, the role of VAR is growing, but not based on that idea of clear and obvious. 2 examples. Offsides, I know that you can put the line, and I know that nobody will listen to me about this. You can put the line and determine if it was offside or not. Now, you cannot see that with the human eye. So why do we put so much emphasis on that? Why don't we help the referee in other occasions where it's clear and obvious? An offside that is 1 centimeter, for 1 centimeter, that's not clear and obvious. So if we started going the route of let's give the referee the option, not the option, let's tell the referee what it is an offside or not, then why not continue that road and tell the referee what's a foul and what is not, what's a penalty and what is not, what happens in corners, all those things that VAR says. Why are we saying, no, let's ignore that? It has to be clear and obvious, apart from the offsides. That's when it gets all confusing. And then in Spanish football anyway, if you actually tackle somebody from behind and you kick their heel, the Achilles tendon, it's been determined that of course that's dangerous for the players. By the way, I don't remember an injury on an Achilles tendon from somebody stepping on it. It's a different type of, it breaks in a different circumstance. But anyway, they decided that that's to be stamped on and given a red for it. Yet again, clear and obvious here is important, because there's been instances where that has happened. The referee has not seen, but the VAR has. And of course, they called the referee and said, have a look at the screen. When he sees that, he's got to give it a red. That's the law right now. You cannot blame the referee for it. But common sense sometimes dictates that it's accidental, that moment when somebody steps on somebody's Achilles tendon, it can be accidental. It can be provoked. It can be on purpose. Then it should be a red. When it's accidental, do you still want to punish it as a red? Well, VAR helps that there are more reds, and like in the case of Celta, of course, 2 players sent off. Both reds were checked on VAR. So what I'm saying, I think, is that VAR is intervening too much. There is too much of it. Also, it's lasting a long time, far too long, for decisions to be made, and that I think has to do with the fact that the once provided VAR have changed. The providers of VAR have changed since the summer. It will stay with us. I don't know what you think of it, and I would like to hear what you think of it. But in any case, for me, it's just too much of technology in a game that should be played as we have played so often, with a goal, sometimes with 2 stones, a ball, and 11 versus 11. I know that that kind of football that I'm talking about is getting away from me, but also let's not just go too far with VAR and let them determine everything that happens in a game, because mistakes and grace are part of football as it should be, because they are also part of life. That's it for now. More next week.